Hello, hello. And yes, am I here live? I'm just checking out Facebook, seeing some funny things. Oh, you never know what you'll see. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Just double checking as always. Am I live? I do have some viewers. Oh, lovely. And my sister Deb is here right away. Hello, hello. It is wonderful to see you all. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh, yes. Okay. That is wonderful. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining me today. Another gorgeous Wednesday here at my palatial estate in Collingwood, Ontario, Canada. I'm about 2 hours north of Toronto. So yes, everyone, my name is Michael Smith, National Education Manager of Janome Canada, back here live at the Janome Sewing Machines Facebook page, Janome America, Janome Canada Facebook page, Janome America's YouTube channel, and Janome Canada's YouTube channel. Anything I can do to share the Janome love. And what am I going to talk about today? Well, oh, lovely, and Sandra is here as well. Wonderful to see you all. So what am I going to talk about today? Well, as you know, if you've been joining me, let's spin around. You don't need to see my messy sewing room. As I have been working all this month, can you believe it's almost the end of July? Where is the time going? Oh, all this month I've been sewing on the fabulous Janome Continental M6 and showing you a little bit what we can do with the machine, and today what optional accessories are available. Well, of course, there is always more with Janome. A lot of our machines already come with so much, but there's always more. So if you have a Continental M6 or any Continental machine, especially, the accessories I'm going to show will work with your machine. They might even come with your machine. But a lot of these accessories, there's a same accessory. It may not be the exact same part number, but it's the same accessory, works in the same way, that's available for a number of machines. So everyone can share in the fun. I always say double check with your fabulous Janome dealer. So Continental M6, the great thing about the M6, there's Continental M7, there's Continental M8, and the CM17, big top-of-the-line machine. The Continental M6 is kind of like the baby sister of the group. So consequently, it is lower in price point, and to help keep that price point low, they really pared down what comes with the machine. So for example, this foot pedal comes with a number of machine, works perfectly fine, just plugs in the side of the machine, and your standard foot pedal. But as an optional accessory, oh look, this big extra large foot controller, you'll see, is about 3 times the size. So if you find you're chasing your foot pedal all over the floor, you can, instead of using this one, you can upgrade to this extra large foot controller. Part number is on our janome.ca website, janome.com. There's a little trapdoor here to open, and then the cord is nicely inside. So this will plug into the side of the machine of not only the Continental machines. Now again, Continental M8 already comes with this big foot controller, and CM17 already comes with it. But if you have a QDC machine, for example, 3160, 4120, 5300, those machines, this is compatible with those machines as well. So that is an upgrade you could get for other models as well. So double check on our janome.com or janome.ca website. In the accessories tab, double check with your Janome dealer to see if this extra wide, extra large foot controller is compatible with your machine as well. It's a great optional accessory. Definitely stays put more on the floor. And again, it's about 3 times larger than the standard foot controller that comes with the CM6 here. So that's an optional accessory. Now, further to that, oh, look, we can do even more. This is the foot controller that comes with the CM17, for example, big top-of-the-line machine. This is that extra wide foot controller plus this remote thread cutter. So this, we just have to take our foot off the gas here, step on this foot controller, and it will cut our threads remotely. It plugs into the back of this foot controller, and they both mount to this big black bracket here. So this is available all as one unit. You can get just the bracket if you already have this foot controller, you could get this bracket and then this remote thread cutter. It plugs in to the foot controller here. So this is, again, a remote thread cutter. So as I'm stitching along, let me just remove this. As I'm stitching along, and I'll just put my foot controller back into play. Now, the cool thing is, oh, there we go. It will fit a number of our machines. So as I'm stitching along here, sorry for the shaky camera work here. You know, again, I'm a one-man band, as I often say. We're stitching along, and then I want to cut my threads. I just move my foot to that little remote thread cutter, and then it will, boom, clip my threads for me. Isn't that wonderful? I don't have to reach up here and touch the scissor button. It'll do it for me. It'll cut the threads for me. So I just simply move my foot over on that remote thread cutter. So isn't that great? So that's another optional accessory that will work with a number of machines. So check with our Janome dealer. So there, I was doing some beautiful stitching earlier. Maybe you've seen this as a previous sample, all this beautiful stitching here on this little trivet that I've made, and a great optional accessory for a number of machines, so I can get right down and see these intricate little decorative stitches. Oh, maybe I've had a thread break and I need to, or my bobbin ran out and I need to go back and I need to sew exactly where I left off. Or here with my circular sewing attachment that I've used, which I'll talk about in just a minute, I want to see, you know, did my stitches all line up perfectly? So what's going to help me view that are these, optic magnifiers. Look at that. We can get it right in front of the needle. Look at that. So this is wonderful. That, what a difference that makes. This is the 60, I call it degrees, and somebody corrected me on a previous live that I forget what they called these, but I called it degrees of magnification, and they corrected me and they gave me a term which I don't remember. So I'll just say degrees of magnification. You'll see the difference. This is without, this is with. And the great thing about these optic magnifiers, oh, maybe we have to thread that needle by hand if it's a size 9 needle. Janome does not recommend using the needle threader with that small needle. Or maybe I've got to thread my needle with a size 30 weight or a heavier weight of thread. We, again, can't use our automatic needle threaders. We have to thread those needle by hand. This optic magnifier will definitely help you. So this, just as you'll see, swings around here on my CM6. I can use it when I need it, swing it out of the way when I don't need it, bring it around when I do. Now, the cool thing is there are these different lenses that just clip on and off very easily. This is 60 degree, but then, oh, look, there is attached to this holder is a 40. And then here is the 20. So they come as a set of 3 of 20, 40, and 60. And they are marked right there, 20, 40, or 60. Again, I'll say degrees of magnification. But again, I know that's not the correct term. I just can't remember it. So again, we just clip those in very easily, and there's 20%. So we can really get down, see the needle, see our stitching as we need it. Again, they just swing out of the way when we don't need them, or we just pull it down. Now, there's this large pin that goes up into the machine, and it's usually around behind the remote, the side thread cutter. From front to back is a thread holder. From back to front is a thread cutter. And right around here, I can tell, I can even feel it with my finger. There is that little divot that is going to accept that pin up in the housing of the machine. If you don't know if this will be accepted in your machine, what I often recommend is we take our phones and you put your phone under, I'll just remove this, you put your phone under the machine like this, and you'll see my light overhead, the glare. But again, will you see, or a mirror, you just take a little flat mirror and you'll see, is that little housing there? Again, I can feel it. If you can tip your machine back, you'll be able to see it that way. But on the CM6, it's a hefty machine, so that's a little harder to do. So you put a mirror down or your phone and you open the camera. Can you see that pin? Now, the Continental machines needed a specific optic magnifier, and this was again for the Continental M7 was the first to get them for the Continental machines, but now it'll just say for Continental models. So it's optic magnifiers, again, full instructions in the blister pack. But these optic magnifiers will fit a number of machines. We just have to make sure we get the correct one for the model. The Continental machines, because of the housing of the machine, again, this is an extra long little pin here, but there is, again, these are like the standard optic magnifiers, and you see, wow, what a difference. You know, if I had this won't work. You know, this won't go around the front of the machine. However, these will work with your, MemoryCraft 15,000, your Skyline machines. These are an optional accessory for Skylines. Some, like 5300 QDC, for example, they come with these optic magnifiers. So again, they are available. 6700 they will work with, 6700, 6600 they will work with that model. So you go on our website, again, janome.com, janome.ca, double check with your Janome dealer. Yes, Sharon says, yes, I agree. It's been forever since I've seen you live. And yes, these optic magnifiers, this particular optic magnifier will work with the MemoryCraft 15,000, the 12,000. But again, Continental models, no, this won't work. So we need the ones for Continental machines specifically. They'll work beautifully. Now, sometimes I admit I use these optic magnifiers either with the mounting bracket, or I just take these lenses out separately. The back of the blister pack or the instruction manuals, if you're finding, that writing's a little smaller than it used to be, maybe it's just, again, your eyes get a little weaker as we get older. I use these. Think of these as your set of cheater glasses, 20, 40, and 60, again, degrees of magnification. Look at that. So maybe just even handheld, they're a great, look at that. Ooh, that's a little blurry, but now I could read that writing much better. So yes. So you'll need a separate, Sharon, for your 15,000 optic magnifiers won't work. They won't mount correctly in your Continental machines because, again, the housing of the machine, it's a little longer. So we needed a specific part number, which I can give you right there. This is the part number you need for your Continental machines for your optic magnifiers. They work really, really good. For the Elna machines, again, double check with your Janome dealer. I'm not as familiar with the Elna models. There's often a Janome equivalent, but I'm not so certain of it. So double check our accessory catalog on janome.com or janome.ca. That'll give you all the info. So they're really, really helpful to use. So the optic magnifiers, a great accessory for your, in this case specifically, Continental M6, or again for a number of other machines. And again, if I can quickly, can I clip that up there as I did? Because I just clip them up out of the way. Now I can't, there we go. Clip it up out of the way, and then boom, I don't need them anymore. They're so convenient. So yes, now our circular sewing attachment, as I mentioned. Now the cool thing about a number of our machines, they're either high shank or low shank. So when I drop my presser foot and I measure up to this little screw that attaches my foot holder, if it's an inch to an inch and a half, or inch to inch and a quarter, it's a high shank machine, which Continental machines are. All of our 9mm machines are high shank. So we measure up here, inch to an inch and a quarter, it's high shank. If I measure up and it's half of an inch, it's a low shank machine. So some of our accessories are grouped according to the shank. Is it high shank or low shank? Most of our feet, presser feet, especially because they're snap-on, are they 9mm wide zigzag needle plate opening? Are they 7mm wide, 5mm wide? Continental M6 is 9mm wide. and high shank. But also some of our machines are grouped. Is it easy set here? And what we refer to as the easy set is we have this wonderful little thread cutter here at the side of our bobbin area. So when I take out my lay-in bobbin here, and I put it down, and very easy under that little finger up, number 1, number 2, it's all indicated right here on that little thread cutter, and then boom, I cut my threads, and this bobbin cover goes back into place. So this is what we refer to as the easy set needle plate. So some of our accessories are grouped according to the needle plate, and specifically that bobbin cover. So when I remove this, for example, I can use the circular sewing attachment, and it says for easy set models. And specifically, boom, there is the actual size of my bobbin cover plate there. And you'll see there's that little remote thread cutter. So that's what we refer to as easy set. So things like the circular sewing attachment, which I've demoed many, many times in many, many lives. Go to our Janome Life blog. We have lots of blogs all about the circular sewing attachment. It's one of our most popular accessories. But also is our quilt binder set is also for easy set. And again, this base plate fits the same measurement as that bobbin cover. So I remove the bobbin cover to put in this base plate of the quilt binder set. And again, lots of blogs on Janome Life blog, video on Janome Canada YouTube channel, Janome America YouTube channel. Everybody asks about mitering the corners with the quilt binder set. I used it to bind. So I use my circular sewing attachment to stitch all my decorative stitches in a circle beautifully. And then I can use my Optic magnifiers to make sure, did those stitches, are they going to line up perfectly? Those Optic magnifiers really come in handy then. Yes, exactly, Sharon, you need that binder set. I agree. This beautiful, in this case, I used bias binding since I'm going around a circle. I cut my fabric on the 45 degree. Or for a regular quilt, I bind it with a regular straight grain binding. And even it doesn't have to be a quilt. This is the little Janome ruler bag. I've showed this a number of times in my lives. I bound the ruler bag here. And in fact, I even created this little handy strap that I put over my shoulder to carry this bag. This was made on the quilt binder set. And what it does is it folds the binding basically in thirds. So it folds in the raw edge, both in the front and back, and then it stitches down all in one step. I used a straight stitch here. We could use a decorative stitch, no problem. So it bound the edge of this bag. It could be a quilt, it could be curtains, tablecloths, an apron, clothing, whatever. Quilt binder set, again, lots of info on Janome Life blog, Janome America YouTube, Janome Canada YouTube. So again, you need to make sure, in this case for the quilt binder set, it is easy set for my Continental M6. This base plate, however, oh no, that does not fit. This does not fit in this needle plate area. So this will work, for example, with the 4120 QDC. It works with a number of our machines. We just need to get the correct one for easy set or non-easy set. So again, you double check with your Janome dealer to get the correct one for your machine. So really, really fun. There is no end to the creativity, no end to the fun with our Janome accessories. We can already do so much with the machine, but of course, Janome, there's always more. So speaking of needle plates, oh yes, some other optional accessories we can get for a number of our machines. Oh, if we're sewing vinyl, leather, cork, some of that slick rain slicker fabric, if we're making like a poncho or a rain jacket, some of that sticky fabric, this is great to use this fabric with the Ultraglide needle plate and Ultraglide foot. Now, the Ultraglide foot comes available as a 5mm, a 7mm, a 9mm separately. But for 9mm machines, we have the combo of this patented 9mm wide needle plate, and again 9mm wide here in the zigzag needle plate opening, the snap-on presser foot for 9mm. They come together as a set. So it's great that a lot of this vinyl has like a knit backing. So for us to sew on it just with a regular needle plate with that vinyl backing or with that knit backing, well, that's not so much of a problem. I've got that Ultraglide foot, which is basically a special resin to help us move our layers more evenly. I'm going to increase my stitch length to about a 3.1. When we're sewing these thicker, denser, we'll say fabric, but you know, it's technically not fabric, but these thicker, look how beautiful that works. Like no problem, because this sticky vinyl is not getting held up on my presser foot because of this special resin in this Ultraglide foot. And again, longer stitches when we're going through these more dense fabrics. So vinyls, corks, leathers, always lengthen your stitch. Look how beautiful that is. But the secret to the Ultraglide needle plate is it looks like the same as our other needle plate. It too has that special resin in it. So have you seen this on Continental machines? One reason why I love them, I love all Janome machines, but look at this. To change my needle plate, lock it, I touch this button on the LCD screen, and boom, this needle plate will rise as if by magic. No screwdriver, no buttons to push. Great if you've got dexterity issues, arthritis, carpal tunnel. Oh, it is so much easier to just slide in this needle plate. Now, it too, oh, if I can find my blister pack, it too, we need Continental, specifically for Continental M6 here. Now, this is an older blister pack, so it says Continental M7. Now the blister packs will say Continental machines, because originally, again, the CM7 was the first in the Continental line. Now it'll just say for Continental machines, Ultraglide needle plate, Ultraglide foot. There is the part number for the Continental machines, Ultraglide needle plate, Ultraglide foot. Oh, thank you so much. Excellent information. Thank you. This is exactly why I love to do these lives. We need to make sure we get the correct needle plate for our respective machines. On the Continental machines, there's no little bracket here and there's no little bracket here to hold the needle plates in place. We have a magnet on our Continental machines, so it has to be the correct needle plate. In other machines, the Ultraglide needle plate and Ultraglide foot combo for 9mm machines is available for 15,000, 12,000, 8,200, 8,900, Skyline S9, but they will clip 6,700, 6,600. They'll clip in, there'll be a little black clip here. So in Continental machines, those won't work. Those are not needed. So boom, I snap that into place. I'll just click that off, unlock my machine. And now when I have 2 layers of vinyl down against the machine and up when I'm sewing my bag like together, this is when we can really use that Ultraglide needle plate and Ultraglide foot combo. And again, I can lengthen my stitch. I'm now going through 2 layers, so I can lengthen my stitch even longer. Look at that, how simple, how easy that is. It moves like butter because of that Ultraglide, that extra resin, that special slick combo of the foot and the needle plate. And there, I lengthened my stitch. This is previous line of stitching. This is my current line of stitching. Do you believe that's a 4.0? That doesn't really look that big, does it? Well, it doesn't look that big. Beautiful stitching, front and back. Doesn't look like that long of a stitch because of those thicker, denser layers. And again, right at the start, whoops, right at the start, no little tiny stitches. Have you ever had when you're sewing and there's those little tiny stitches because your machine can't feed properly? Well, with the right tools, the right presser foot, the right needle plate, it'll work no problem. So Ultraglide foot, Ultraglide needle plate, that is another optional accessory for our Continental M6 here. the very fabulous HP needle plate, an HP foot. Now it specifically says HP needle plate, and even the bobbin cover here says HP needle plate. You'll see it looks like the straight stitch needle plate, but it has a single hole to the left. HP stands for high performance. This is modeled after industrial equipment of industrial machines. So I'm going to just remove my foot holder. And why we all love this, as quilters especially, why do we love this HP foot? Look at that narrow profile, that perfect 1/4 of an inch, because the foot and the foot holder are integrated. So that means there is no side-to-side wiggle movement of the foot. It's very stable. This is modeled after, again, industrial machines, and our HD9 and our 1600P have a very similar foot. So there, did you see my needle is automatically oriented to the left? And when I've installed it here in my machine, do you see all my zigzag stitches disappeared? The icon on my screen tells me I've got that HP foot on. There, do you see my line of stitching is oriented to the left? And all my zigzag stitches, when I go into my decorative category, all of those are grayed out. All I can do are straight stitches. Now, this is wonderful for our quilt piecing, specifically that P for piecing stitch. 1.8, it has made a shorter stitch length, so we don't have to worry about back stitching or using the lock stitch. And again, quilters love using this. Now, even tote bag makers love this foot. We get into those tiny little areas sewing the tote bags together, or I use this foot when I make Barbie clothes or doll clothes, because again, those tiny little seam allowances. So here I'm just lining this strip up against the edge of my foot. I do have my 1/4 inch markings here on my needle plate, my patented needle plate. I'm marking here, 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 and there's another 1/4 of an inch mark at the back. There are 5 1/4 of an inch marks on our patented needle plates. And I thought it was funny. A lady said on social media, some other lady was complaining there's not enough markings on the needle plate. And one lady said, there's 5. How many more do you need? I thought that was so funny. But yes, it works so beautifully. Now, again, lots of information. Look at that perfect 1/4 of an inch. Go ahead and take your measure. Look at that. I know you see glare, but look at that. Perfect. It is the perfect 1/4 of an inch. And when does that matter? Oh, when you've got one seam isn't so bad. But on this block here, there's 1 seam, 2 seam, 3 seam, 4 seam, 5 seams. If my 1/4 of an inch is not exact, my block's going to be either a little smaller or a little bigger. They're going to incrementally get bigger. But oh, look, when I put on my ruler, 6.5 inch square up ruler, boom, that is perfect. You couldn't ask for more. So the right foot, the right needle plate makes all the difference in the world. It will totally, as a quilter, it's a must-have. Again, for 9mm machines, it will work with a number of machines. Not every one, though. So again, for certain machines, check with your Janome dealer, check our accessory catalog to see the correct one for your machine. But it is available as an optional accessory for a number of machines. We just have to make sure to get the correct one for the machine. And mainly, it's not available for all machines because, again, we need that firmware that orients the needle automatically to the left, so we don't make a mistake and break a needle by not adjusting the machine correctly. Janome really does try to help us out because we're all so busy. So I'm just putting this regular presser foot on and regular needle plate on because the last accessory I will, I will talk about 2 very quickly. As always, I'm racing for time. Look at this giant extension table. Now already my Continental M6, it ends right here where my finger is to the left. So already I have a big 13.5-inch throat space from the right of the needle. Over from here, it's about, oh, I think it's about 17.2, 17 and a half work area. But then all this big extension table way over here, way back here, all the way in front, adjustable legs, this gorgeous little drawer. Oh, look at that. I can keep in my optional HP needle plate and HP foot, my straight stitch needle plate that comes with the machine, my screwdriver, bobbins. Oh, here's another optional accessory for Continental M6 that we have, the AccuFeed. This is the HP2 AccuFeed Flex professional grade AccuFeed Flex foot with that same tiny little HP foot profile. Or another optional accessory, the dual or twin AccuFeed Flex foot holder with that optional, or that power of AccuFeed with that upper set of feed teeth. So this is an optional accessory for Continental M6. They come included with a number of machines. They're compatible with a number of machines, so double check with your Janome dealer. So this extension table makes all the difference in the world as well for your projects. Ooh, specifically as a quilter and a tote bag maker. But again, even as a garment sewer, for sure, we all need more space. But again, another optional accessory, which I absolutely love. I remove my bobbin cover, and oh, look, this gorgeous cloth guide with the window, as I say, the window to our soul. Now, feedback from our previous attachments, like circular attachment and quilt binder attachment, consumer said, oh, I wish there was a little hole in that base plate so I could see. Again, I can't see, is there enough bobbin thread? I don't know in that base plate, but I have a little window in this base plate. So Janome does really try to listen to the feedback. So this just clips in, we remove the bobbin cover. Look, it's as big as my 13.5-inch throat space. So that's why this cloth guide is specific to the Continental machines. It comes with the CM17, but it's an optional accessory. I believe it comes with Continental M8, but it's an optional accessory for Continental M6 and Continental M7. And the great thing is this cloth guide, there is a ruled guide, numbers. Oh, do you see the 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch, 5 inch, all the way out? Maybe I'm going to do a big 4-inch hem. There is a little red line here. I go to the 4-inch, click, and there is my giant fence way out here. So I could do my nice deep hem for curtains, for a winter coat, let's say. Or then, yes, I'm a garment sewer. I'm going to snug up this cloth guide to my 5/8 of an inch very quickly. And I have my guides here on my patented needle plate. I can line up there. I can refine this right there. My red line is on the 5/8 inch. I lock it into place. I've got this big acrylic fence here. And look, I can just look at that. Look how easy that is. Big long seams especially. And again, how accurate is that? Straight and even and beautiful at 5/8 of an inch. But oh no, I am a quilter and I want my 1/4 of an inch. Boom, I line it up. I get this all lined up beautifully. So without even changing my presser foot, let's get that 1,300 stitches per minute. Isn't that beautiful? All that vibration of my needle plate there. Isn't that beautiful? So fast, so easy. Oh yes, let me just take my measurement with my ruler on the edge of my fabric. Boom. Oh, you can't see because of the glare. I'm sorry. But there, boom, lined up perfectly. Now let's say, oh, I want a scant 1/4 of an inch. I just take my cloth guide, and a scant 1/4 is usually about 1 or 2 threads shy of a 1/4 of an inch. I just take my cloth guide, I move it over a little speck, and then, oh yes, this could be my scant 1/4. This is where you experiment. So maybe if you don't have the HP foot and HP needle plate, but you have a block with 5 seams here, and you do your regular 1/4 of an inch and you find, oh no, my block isn't the correct size, you then use this cloth guide, move it over a little bit to that 1/4 or that scant 1/4 of an inch. You just experiment. But oh, look. There, that was my regular 1/4 of an inch. That is my scant 1/4. That can make all the difference in a block like this, again, with all those seams. Now I want to purchase an M6 sewing machine. Well, that's wonderful. That's exactly why I love to do these presentations. But again, these cloth guides, maybe not this specific one, but there is a cloth guide for almost every Janome sewing machine. Yes, Sandra says she has her M8 and she uses the cloth guide and it works out very nicely. So yes, there is a cloth guide. There's many blogs on Janome Life, many videos as well, a cloth guide for many Janome sewing machines that will give you those very professional, accurate results. So double check our accessory catalog on janome.ca, janome.com, as well as check with your fabulous Janome dealer. So yes, oh my gosh, as usual, I'm over my time. What a surprise. There is just so much that we can do with our Janome machines, no matter what model you have. There are always so many additional accessories and different pressure feet and optional things like a quilt binder set that we can get for our machine, extension tables, cloth guides, you name it, that is going to help you faster, easier, more professional and fun results as well. Sewing's supposed to be fun, so let's make the most of it. So thank you everyone so much for joining me. I will see you all next week. Have a fabulous day. Bye.